Hiya once again, Tim with Tim's Computer Repair. Here's what I have today for you. An i9 12900KF, an MSI Intel motherboard, Pro Z690-A DDR4, two 2TB Samsung 980 Pro M.2s NVMe, 64 gig kit DDR3 3600 MHz G.Skill RipJaws memory, EVGA 1000 watt gold power supply ready for action. MSI GeForce RTX 4070 rocking and rolling. And this build is going to go into a Meshify 2 compact computer case, the white variety. Let's start off by testing the main components first. I haven't done an Intel build in a while. This ought to be fun. Not a bad looking motherboard, yeah? Processor. Let's inspect those pins. Looking pretty darn good to me. Excellent. Goes in like this. Close her up. Close her down. Oh, there's funny little latch lever. Huh. Light as a feather, these cards are. They got really light. Really light. 4070 going in. So we got everything, all of our basic parts are in. I just need to get this power supply hooked up here, and we're going to fire this off and see if everything works. Now, you really didn't think I was going to use the dark, Be Quiet Dark Rock Slim on this i9 processor. Wrong. I chose to go with the Noctua NHD15. This is probably the best air cooler on the market at the time of this video. Just look at all those heat pipes. i9 12th gen does get hot, so we need to manage that. We're not using water, so we got to get the best air cooler on the market, and that's what is installed now on this. So let me show you what we're putting this build into. This is the Meshify 2 compact case by Fractal. This is, of course, the white version. It's got a tempered glass side window there that I just took off, and this case is built. I'm telling you, it's heavy and it's compact, but it does fit a full ATX motherboard. Everything on this case is metal except for this front bezel, which is plastic, but that's okay. The front has this nice mesh kind of diamond-like design. Looks real nice. I'll get you a better look at it here in a moment. Just want to get the build going in here real quick. See what this case looks like with all the parts in it. It comes with two 140mm front fans, 120mm rear fan. Of course, you can also add your water cooler in here if you like. This front panel here also supports a 280mm rad up to 240mm rad up top. It supports a 240 millimeter rad if you so choose to put water cooling in this system. Got a nice metal shroud, black shroud down here at the bottom. I like it. Nice grommets for your cabling. Really nice. Even down here where your cables could come up from the shroud. Nice grommeted, really well built, well designed. It's got two 3.0 USB ports here, reset button, power button. Look at there, a Type-C also, and headphone, microphone jack. Let's go ahead and have a look at how this build is going to fit in here. We'll go ahead and start by putting the motherboard in the case. Let's see how this build is going to start looking. We'll of course start off with putting the I/O shield in. Well, now we're going to match up and line up and make sure that our standoffs match up with the mounting holes on the motherboard. And that's easily done because they're labeled. ATX, the A stands for ATX. ATX. The M's stand for micro. The small M's do. The larger M's is for mini. A is there. Those two. So this case comes with the standoffs ready for ATX form factor with the standoffs. So let's go ahead and get this board in here. Line everything up the best you can. Boy, that slides right in there nicely. It pops right in there. Looking good. Now what I'm going to do here is check my I/O shield here to be sure everything lines up okay. Guess that looks all right. Oh, well, you know, that's looking pretty darn good with the black background in here, the black motherboard. Plenty of room in this, that's for sure. All right, let's get our motherboard screws. All right, motherboard screws are in. Looking good. Next, we need to go in with our video card. Just to recap, I already have the two drives installed that I want. Oh, look how nicely that video card is going to fit in here, huh? Oh yeah. Two slot cards, so we're going to take out these two. All right, let's go ahead and insert our video card. The 4070 RTX. There we go. Nice little click. I like it. I like it. I like it. The good thing I like about the 40 series NVIDIA cards is they're lighter than the previous versions. So you're going to have a lot less chance of card sag, which is a good thing. It really is. The cards were getting so heavy, but this 4070 is surprisingly kind of light or lighter than the previous versions. All right, video card is in. Now, oh boy, the fun part. Let's go ahead and get our power supply installed. To this power supply, I've already had from my test, my out-of-the-box boot that I did. I already have the 24 pin, I already have the EVGA, and I also have the CPU pin already plugged into the cable, already plugged into the power supply. All I need to do is now, obviously I didn't show a 2.5 inch SSD. I don't have one, but I think he said that he has one that he wants to put in this. I'm going to add a SATA connector to the power supply to give us some SATA power for any drives that he wants to put in here. There are no RGBs on this case. There are no RGB fans. There is not going to be a plan to be an RGB fan. He is not a fan of RGB fans or lights on a case. All the better. This is a perfect case for that. So far this build is going very well in this case. I'm liking it. So now we're going to get this power supply put in here. Obviously there's the shroud. I think the best bet for me is to go ahead and flip this over. Ooh, and it's already getting heavy. All that metal case and that heavy motherboard in there. Yes sir. So those aren't PWM fans for sure. They should be nice and quiet though. Quiet is what we're looking for. Here's your dry bays for your 2.5, for your 3.5 if you wanted to add any 3.5s. And here is where you mount your 2.5 inch, your SSDs. Let's see. Do I want to remove this? I think I do. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So this has a bracket. You just remove for the power supply. Okay, so I have the power supply case bracket attached to the power supply, but I have not tightened it down all the way because I want to first get this screwed onto the case, then I'll tighten those down. So we'll just slide these cables in. We're going to go fan side down. There we go, girl. That's how we do it. Then we'll just tighten these screws all down here and move on to the next step. Now we're going to go with a little bit of cable management. Here's what I like about this case, and I can tell already it's great. Here's your CPU, right? And the CPU connectors are up in here. CPU connectors are up in here. And look at that. A nice little grommet. Plenty of room. Just push this through there. Boom, look at that. Look at that. Our 24 pin. That connector. That connector is up in here. So we'll just take our 24 pin. Boom, yow. Just like that. Alright, how about our VGA? VGA adapter? We know that that's somewhere right in here. Love it. Look at this. Right down in here, another grommet, rubber grommet. We'll just poke that through there like that. Right? And then this, we're just going to shove into to the side until we get word on what we're going to do with that. And then of course, we have these cables to tend with. Might as well go ahead. We have these cables to tend with. Might as well go ahead and see what we need to do with those also. Aha! Again, do believe it's the audio, and that's going to be tight. That's not going to fit. So that was a little bit of a boo-boo right there. This is the audio, which is probably right here on the board, but I can still, and that, so with the power supply in, it won't fit through this little groove here. So I'm just going to go ahead and push it through the same grommet that the VGA went up through. Same thing with, this is the front panel header connectors. I know it's on the bottom of this board, so I'm just going to push it through here. The Type-C connector and the USB 3.0 connector are right here. Okay, we're going to be running those here, these two, the Type-C and the USB 3.0, right here at the same grommet as the 24 pin. Now I've got all of the cables going through in the proper place. I can flip this back over now and start to connect everything up. All right, we can start off with our audio header here. Might as well go ahead and do our front panel connectors. There we go, those are plugged in. Those are plugged in looking nice. VGA, no, your VGA power. Get in there, son. Snip. That's in there. Excellent. Excellent. Ah, now we're here for the 24 pin. Bend them around the way we need to. Don't worry about all the excess. We'll pull that through. Once we're done, snap, click. That clicked into place. Here's your USB-C connector. And here's your USB 3.0. So that's in there, and that's in there, and that's in there. And our CPU connector here. You know what? This is grand because I barely have any room down here because of this honking heatsink, but I believe I can make this work. Boy, I tell you what, trying to get down to this CPU power header there with this heatsink on here like this, that is the downfall of you know, air coolers like that. It does take up room in your machine, and sometimes plugging in cables can be a bit on the fun side, so to speak. But I got it. It's there. Everything's plugged in. Power's plugged in. We're looking okay. Let's go ahead and get these fans taken care of. We're about done with this as far as this is what I'm going to do, everybody, whether you like it or not, but this is what I'm going to do. I feel better about this as far as the cooling goes, especially since we're using air. I'm going to add a fan, and I'm going to have to add it right here. Now, what's wrong with that, do you ask? This is going to stick up about this far. The glass cover will close just fine. It'll be resting right on this fan. And I know it looks a little odd. It covers up the memory. But you know what? You're going to get that extra air flowing through that heatsink to help cool that processor. So I am going to go ahead and install that here. I would have gone on this side thinking it might lay flush like this, but it's not because of the shroud that's covering the I/O there. It'll still stick up just as much, and you know, so why not just put it right here? So that's where it's going to go. And that's just how that's going to have to roll. Then I'm going to plug that in. Now I'm going to stand this up, take you guys down. We're going to have a different angle here to kind of get these cables managed. All right, as you can see, I did bring that cable up through that grommet, and then I came back out through that grommet. I'm going to tighten that up a little bit, but yeah, okay, I got 2 more system fan headers, which works out perfectly because I got 2 more fans to hook up. So let's do that. Okay, everyone, as you can see here, I also added a Wi-Fi card. I had to add that in there. Got this build pretty much close to being ready. I got some wire management to do. Let's stand this up and see what we can do about tightening up some of these cables. Hey, you can see here the back of the case with some of the wire management I have that I need to take care of. Not really worried about the back side of the case so much. I'm going to take a look at this front side. Hey Kit Kat, how are you? Might start here a little bit with, let's say this guy. I can just feed that through. I'm pulling it from the back. There, a little tighter there. You can see how that is fairly tight up against the board now. This is the this is the USB cable here. Let me see if I can push that down and get it into that grommet. So there we go. That's pretty good for wire management for the bottom here. Not bad. You know, I don't want to pull on this too much, so I'm going to keep all that right there. And as you can see, hey, doesn't look too darn bad at all. Okay, over here on this side, not really a whole lot that looks too awful bad. There is one thing up top there I'd like to address. Let's see what I can do about bringing that in from the back. Oh yeah, just help it along. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. So even the top there doesn't look bad. Wire management wise, looks okay. Over here on this side here, a USB-C. I really can't do much with those, but I most likely will go ahead and put a zip tie or 2 right here, just to kind of button those up a little bit. I may go ahead and I will go ahead and zip tie some of these and try to get them into the proper slots here as it was designed to do. So let me do that, and I'll show you the final outcome of this wire management on this side. Okay, this is a little bit of the finished product there. A little bit of wire management. Not too bad, yeah. Not too bad at all. I just kind of got wires shoved back into there a little bit, but that's fine. I still got to add a drive. I'm not sure what kind of drive it wants to add, but I got the extra cable for that already, so that's no big deal. So I'm going to close this back up and let's go ahead and fire this thing up and have a look at what it looks like, a finished product there, okay? Alright guys, got her up and running. Running some stress testing here. Closed up the glass. No big deal. I mean, it looks clean. No RGBs. That's what the guy wants. Doesn't really give a darn about the RGBs, which is fine by me because I'm not a big fan of them either. That's what the front looks like. Just a solid little build. You know, to be honest, I really enjoy building in this case. Let me show you a couple more things. This top panel comes off, kind of snaps right off, and that'll give you access to your top filter there. Just snaps right back on like that. And the front panel here just kind of opens up and swings open like a door. Love that. Have access to your front panel filter there. Very nice. We've had Furmark running for over an hour. GPU temps, nice and cool at 65 degrees at 100% load. Nice.